Hi everyone, I'm Krika and this is Art Rendezvous. Welcome to episode 15. Art Rendezvous is a show where we invite incredibly talented artists and talk all about art. So if you're an art lover, please like and subscribe our channel. Our guest tonight is Karen Woodward, who is a glass sculptor. Karen has created her own unique style with these glass sculptures. She has shown her work nationally and internationally. So let's invite her on the show and learn about her journey to become an artist. Hi, Karen.
Hi, Krika.
Welcome to Art Rendezvous.
Thank you for having me.
Karen, you have been working with glass for so many years now. Why did you pick glass as a medium to work with?
Well, that's an interesting question. So, after I went to graduate school, I decided that I wanted to make jewelry uh, due to just economic pressures of life. And I wanted to make an alternative to gemstones. And so I tried to sign up for a glass fusing class to make dichroic glass cabochons set into jewelry. And I accidentally signed up for the wrong class at the Craft Alliance Center for Art and Design. And the class that I signed up for was called lamp working or bead making. And I was like, oh no, I can't believe I signed up for the wrong class. So I went ahead and finished the class. And within 6 months, I was teaching the class and eventually running the department. And so I just I ended up just keeping with it, and it's something that I really enjoyed.
So you signed up for the class by accident?
Yes, I signed up for the class by accident, so it was definitely some chaos theory, and it all started with the accident.
So, Karen, how long have you been a professional artist?
That's also a really good question. So after I started teaching glass classes in about 2000,
Mhm.
um, I spent about 5 years just teaching and just working on my glass technique. And I was teaching, I think one summer I was teaching morning classes, uh, afternoon classes, late afternoon classes, and then in the evening. And it was 12-hour days. And so I spent lots and lots of time with just the material and working with it, just probably 3 months straight. And then I made my first, I'm giving you the origin story. So it was one night I was really just too tired to go home. And so I sat and I was working. And it's late at night when things get weird. And that's when I made my very first sculpture, of which I called them the part of the effigy series.
Mhm.
And they're all characters that either bear a likeness to someone or something that I've experienced. So I made this one sculpture, and the eyes happened, and then the nose happened, and then the mouth happened, and then it all started from there. So in terms of being a professional artist, I think after doing that for a few years, it wasn't about 2005 that I had my first art fair. And I was just making these sculptures for myself. And then people started asking me if they were for sale, because I wasn't really aggressive about selling them because they were my own personal little friends that I kept either in my pocket or in my studio or around the house. And
Yeah.
I just they're mine, they're my little friends. And so then I applied for an art fair, and then it ended up being successful in terms of sales. And it was okay to sell the pieces that were all my little babies, because all the people were so happy that got the pieces, and so that made it okay. Normally I would like to keep everything I make, because I mean they all have little personalities in their own life, but it was okay. And so when I sell the works now, and it's been about 15 years, I see the person that owns the work, and I remember which one of the babies they have. So
Wow.
I'm like, oh, you have that one. So I always remember who has them.
Wow, that's very interesting because I was talking to another artist who bought one of your a couple of your pieces, and he said exact same thing that she remembers which one I bought, and so that's
It's
really surprising.
it's no, it's true. It's because I think, okay, I think that this sculpture is going to be safe with this person. It's okay. And then sometimes when I wrap it up, I give a little kiss and then
Oh,
I let it go. I can't help it.
but you have created such unique style with these sculptures. Like they're so intricate and so interesting in they're so expressive. They're just awesome. I wonder if we can try to bring some of the slides back up that we just saw a little bit earlier. But each one of those have such good expressions on their face.
Oh, that's actually a group of some of the pieces from my very first show. This type of character that's on the pedestal. I have a really good friend that owns a machine company, and he helped me develop those mounts. And that's how I would display them. Normally, I'd have them, like I say, in my pocket or on my desk or all over my studio, but he helped me refine the works and give it an object de art, um, real official feel.
Nice. So, what is the process of making these glass sculptures?
The process of making the glass sculptures is what I taught for 10 years. It's called flame work or lamp work, and that involves taking glass rods of a variety of different colors. Nothing is painted. If it's green, that's the color of the glass rod. And you take the rods and that you melt them at a torch, and the torch is about 2,000 degrees. And you sculpt and use gravity and graphite tools and mashers and a variety of different tools, and you sculpt it um, and then once it's taken its shape that you like, you put it in a kiln to anneal it, and that helps it stay very strong. So I think there's a video on right now. That
What?
video, is that video going to be on? That video is of making frit,
Mhm.
taking molten glass and using it. Now, all the pieces like that, which are called frit, is you can take molten glass and roll it in the frit, kind of like you're breading a chicken. And you can put texture or different polka dots onto your glass.
So, how long it usually takes you to make these little people? One of these little people.
If I sit down at a work session, I can really get about one or two really good ones a day.
Okay, so that's still not bad. Um, so you always worked with just glass, or are there different other mediums that you try to work with as well?
Well, I work with so many different materials, but right now, other than glass, I work with painting, ceramic sculpture, collage, and LEDs and some lighting. And I've really been trying to combine all of those together.
So how do you bring all those mediums together?
Well, my latest body of work, I've been making light boxes that are also portraits, and I give the glass a context that's with either in the eye or in the mind. And so those two series are called the Mind's Eye series or the Meditation series. And the Mind's Eye are portraits that are looking at the viewer, and you are looking at the portrait, and that could possibly be what the portrait is thinking. So it's going into their mind. And the meditation series is a faceless portrait, and it has a lot of sometimes chaos going on inside of their head. but it's really undefined. Sometimes I think art is better left um, unexplained than to spend too much time explaining it. Then it loses its impact. So I like a little bit of mystery.
So with these light boxes, the installation must be really tricky at the art galleries for you, right? You have to hook them up with the uh, to light them up, and they have each one of them have to be placed in a certain way.
Actually, every piece that I have is self-contained, and I've spent a long time perfecting the technique of making them. Now, the first one was not so easy. There was a lot of crying involved of trying to get the electrical things to work and just to put the whole thing together. But the learning curve was very steep. But then I figured out how to do it, and so now everything is put together very simply. And all it does is it's low voltage and it plugs in very easily into just a standard electrical outlet. Very easy to install.
Mhm.
And I use cable cords to cover all of the cords, so it looks really slick.
And I've also seen some of your sculptures, which are of this man with a giant head laying
Yes.
down. Tell us about that.
Okay, so that is the giant sculptures that I make are all made out of ceramic. And once a year for the past 10 years, I've taken a class at a place called Eye of the Dog Art Center, and it's in San Marcos, and it's like a summer camp for big people. That's what I call it. It's my favorite art week of the year. And in that class, that workshop, there's about a dozen people in there, and you spend the week building one sculpture or one, maybe two sculptures. And the kiln is about 4 feet in height, so you could make something really huge, and they help you fire it. So once a year, I produce a couple big sculptures like that, and
Okay.
that's how that now with that big head, that what that sculpture means is most of my work is about mental states or states of being, and I place a lot of emphasis on the head and just
Mhm.
an oversized head, and it really felt right to have a really big head. um, it's I feel life is complicated and you have to take time to rest or dream. And this character with the big head is just resting that big head. He just he he's either resting or dreaming or he's just done for the day.
That is so appropriate for 2020, especially after dealing with 2020. We all need to rest our head.
Everybody, and I think when you saw that in my studio, that particular sculpture was hiding under my desk, and so he was just done.
Done for the day.
Yeah,
Um,
he was done.
and tell us about some of your commission assignments that you have done in the past.
Well, one of my favorite commissions that I did was for a tech company here in Austin, and this was about 100 pieces from the effigy series. That's all of the glass figures, and uh, there's many different kinds, and they're all, like I say, they're all a likeness to someone or something that I have experienced, and I just they're best explained as they're all iterations of life. And so, in one way or another, all different colors, all different expressions. Um, that's the best way to put it.
What was the purpose of this of putting so many in a row in that room at that installation?
Well, the purpose of so many is it just gives like a good example of all the possibilities of ways that you could experience life and just how you would feel. Um, for the tech company, it was for a particular space called the Zen space. And
Mhm.
so people would go there to rest and relax and dream and collect themselves. So this ended up being a perfect spread of all the different pieces. So hopefully people could come in and resonate or relate to one of those, whatever mood they were experiencing at that time.
Mhm.
That's the best way to put it.
Um, what is the inspiration behind your work? How do you get inspired to make these different characters?
Well, the best inspiration is right in front of you all the time, and that is people watching. And I say life is full of comedy and tragedy,
Mhm.
and I like to explore that through portraits with a touch of absurdity. And
But
I guess,
sorry, go ahead.
oh,
Go ahead.
so, some inspiration. So results. Um, my dad is a neuroscientist, and my husband is a psychiatrist, and so it makes sense to me after a lifetime of conversations of thinking about the head or the portrait in terms of um, both biology and behavior. This is just a natural progression of what my work would end up looking like. People ask, how does it end up looking like this? I say that's one explanation. It may not be a real explanation, but hindsight is 2020. I say that's a good explanation, but I don't know. I don't know for sure. No, I don't think artists can really explain their own work. But
That's
that's
true.
that's an
Um,
attempt.
but I can see what the mental state that you're trying to display with these figures who have the bubbles around their head and they have expressions in their in the bubbles. So it's probably telling the mental state of the person and what is their expression on the face is
Yeah,
because of what's in their head.
exactly. Yeah, that's exactly. It's kind of like it's the glass when I put it onto the little face. The little faces inside their head are also glass, and putting a round spherical thing is on it
Mhm.
is the convex bubble that makes it more of a paperweight, so you can see it better, and it's more of a clear view into that sculpture's mind. And so there may be something, you know, a little bit crazy. Sometimes they're faces, sometimes they're colors, and the
Yeah.
different patterns and shapes. But I really like the one that has the face, and then it has another face inside the head. It could be that that other head is talking to it. And there's many levels of being disturbed. So
Yes. Yeah, we all have that someone inside our head talking. So
yeah,
that's a good
there's somebody
representation.
living rent free inside of your head. You just really just want them to go away.
So Karen, 2020 was a challenging year for most of us, right?
Yes,
But
it
uh,
was.
how that inspire you to create something different than last year?
Absolutely. I'd say at the beginning of 2020, I was experiencing a lot of grief and just due to the loss of the way life used to be. And I think everybody was loss of just, all the art shows were canceled.
Mhm.
Um, and it's just bad. So the character, after a few months of just, having some sort of pity party, I invented a character called the mostly sad banana,
Mhm.
and it's a speckled brown banana, and the idea is getting through life is hard enough, and most people are this year have been suffering in one way or another, and this particular banana is having some problems, both emotional and physical, and
Mhm.
you know hopefully not too much financial. I mean, you don't know, the banana's not doing too good, and people look at that and they laugh, and it's really about the comedy of suffering.
Mhm.
Um, suffering's not funny, but it's a little bit dark. You get to see this banana, it has no arms, no legs, and it looks like it's turning brown, and it's not doing so good. And I think a lot of people this year might resonate with that mostly sad banana. and he's got red eyes. And he's a he's seen better days. You know, he's about to turn. You don't know. He
Yeah.
might turn into banana bread, which might be good. But I think that that sculpture is the most authentic piece of art that I made this year.
That was a really good representation of 2020.
That's a, if I could say 2020 is that banana. But I don't know. I keep thinking, you know, he needs to turn the corner and maybe turn into a banana bread. I mean, that's not a bad thing, you know. He'll be reincarnated into something just totally delicious.
This was a pleasure, Karen. Thank you for being here, and I thoroughly enjoyed talking to you and
Well,
learning
thank
about
you.
your journey.
I thank you for having me. I enjoyed talking to you.
So that was our show for tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to like and subscribe our channel. We'll be back soon with more art and inspiring stories. Until then, stay warm and stay safe. Bye.